Hey guys, it's Derby Day, and I don't know about you, but I am nervous. Welcome to Red Devils United, and I am John, and we are here on Derby Day to discuss the match, talk about the football ahead, the games that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, the defeat and knocking out of the Champions League, which is obviously very hard to take. As you'll know, my post-game video for the match against RB Leipzig was quite short because to say I was devastated would be an understatement. Have to be honest. It's a hard one to take getting knocked out of the Champions League, but when you think that we were only a crossbar from getting through, or a slight bit of luck when Pogba's cross nearly got put into the RB Leipzig goal, except for the keeper just. His foot happened to be in the right place at the right moment to stop that happening. So let's hope today, Derby Day, we can actually get that bit of luck. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm delighted to be here, and I hope today we see some great results for us. You might be asking yourself, what the hell is the Pixar image doing on the Manchester United match? Well, this is basically just to talk about the emotions that I think most of us fans now have had this season. This Jekyll and Hyde team that we have. I have to say, it's hard to comprehend because it's not just game to game. It's not just like one game is PSG level good, beating them 2-1. And then the next game you're losing to Arsenal. You know, you're going to RB Leipzig, you're winning 5-0. And then the next game, you know, you're struggling against Istanbul. I mean, at the moment, it's actually, for the last 2 or 3 games, it's been within an actual match. You know, against West Ham, against Southampton. While we were playing good in the first half, we still went down 2-0 to a corner. And then a wonderful free kick. But we keep saying this. We cannot defend cross-ins recently for whatever reason. We went down 2-0 and then we come back in the second half 3-2. Fantastic, yes. But then West Ham, we are the worst I think I've ever seen us play in the first half. Absolutely atrocious. And we go down in the first half 1-0. It should have been maybe 4 or 5-0 to West Ham. And we come back in the second half with a blitz. An absolute bit. We could have scored 5 or 6 ourselves. Even against RB Leipzig, we're down 2-0 within 13 minutes or 14 minutes. But then we go 3-0 down, and yet we come back to 2-all. Or was it we came back at 2-0 to 2-1 and then 3-1. We were in a crossbar of getting through with Bruno Fernandes's incredible free kick. Again, we go behind, but then we come back again and we score again. And then Pogba has a cross in from the right hand side. It hits the defender. You know, he tries to clear it or intercept it, and it hits his studs, goes straight towards goal, and the keeper's foot just happens to be, any other day. I mean, if that was De Gea, it probably just would have went between his legs. We just weren't getting any luck. But the big problem is the Jekyll and Hyde performances we have. I've literally felt every emotion that you see on the screen there. I've been disgusted, like the first half of the West Ham. I've been terrified going into games like today. Today is a really nervous, fearful day because if we play the way we did in the first half against West Ham, this game could be 4 or 5-0 before half time. And not in a good way to City. So, I'm fearful. I felt sadness. Literally getting dumped out of the Champions League. I've just been moping around then for days because it's just absolutely some atrocious football. Then there's some amazing football where the joy comes in. You got like some brilliant performances, beating PSG, beating RB Leipzig 5-0. Even then the win. We've won I think the last 4 in a row. The comebacks against Southampton, against West Ham. In fact, I think 5 or 6 of our away games this season, we've not only won them all, but we've won them from losing positions. So there's a lot of joy in that at the end. But before that, you get this anger, you get this like just screaming at the TV. What the fuck is going on? Like it's hard. It's exciting, and you feel all of these emotions. They're there. It's hard, but it's just. I don't know. It's just a really difficult time to be a United fan. But which emotion are we gonna feel today, guys? Which emotion? I mean, which emotion are you feeling now? Put in the chat box. Are you nervous? Are you disgusted? Are you just sad? Are you actually feeling excited? You know, you think there's gonna be a win. Or are you like me? Are you just already getting angry before the game is even kicked off? Let us know what your thoughts are. It's a big one today, I have to say. What we want, it's bigger than for nobody other than like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here. He's under immense pressure, and sometimes it's from the fans. Salute. Sometimes it's from the fans, and sometimes it's warranted. I mean, he is managing Manchester United, and it's one of the biggest clubs in world football. But I don't like. Even I was absolutely disgusted at his tactics against RB Leipzig. He played a back seven. Okay, I don't care if you can get a point, you can go through. In the pre-match press conferences, he was talking about this is United. We don't go for draws. We're going out to win. He says we're going out to win, and then he plays a back seven, 5 defenders with 2 defensive midfielders sitting in front. How do you justify playing a back seven? You have basically Rashford, Greenwood, and Bruno, 3 players against like just completely overrun in midfield. 3 players completely overrun, can't get up the pitch, can't hold on to the ball because they've nobody around them. A back 7. At the very most, we should have played a back 5. Whether it was 4 defenders and then 1 defensive midfielder, and then just go at RB Leipzig with everything you have. At least if you get knocked out, you get knocked out swinging. You know, you could have left that game winning 2, 3, 4, 5-0 if you went out and actually just blitzed them. The way they did us, you know, they had to get a win. They didn't sit back and try to nick a win. No, they went out all guns blazing, and in the end they deserved to go through. We started that match fearful, and they were playing City, a much better team than RB Leipzig, with much better individual players, and a much better manager than RB Leipzig. So are we going to play a back 7 again today? I was disgusted with Ole's tactics, but that doesn't mean I'm all of a sudden like just Ole out, Ole out. You know, you've got to keep in mind he's currently ahead of Pep Guardiola's Man City by a point. He has a game in hand that if he wins, he'd only be 2 points off top of the table. Yes, we went out of the Champions League, but so what? We've won the Champions League twice in the last 30 years. Okay, so that means 28 times we went out at some stage. So, I mean, every single manager we've had went out of the Champions League. Jose went out of the Champions League. Van Gaal went out of the Champions League. Or did he even get in it? I think he got in. Didn't get out. Alex Ferguson, 25 years at the club. He got knocked out of the Champions League on at least 23 occasions. Or 22 occasions. So, to say he should be fired because he went out of the Champions League, he's basically done... we wanted to get forward. We wanted to get to the knockout stages. And we should have got to the knockout stages, and he has a team capable of getting to the knockout stages. So, by all means, it's not good enough. Like, it's not nearly good enough. But that doesn't mean you immediately turn to kind of Ole because of it. Not getting far enough in the Champions League. Look at the league at the moment. We're a point ahead of City. There's not a lot of talk about Arteta getting sacked, and yet like they're sitting 15th or something. And they're dreadful. I know they beat United, but since then they've been dreadful. If Man United went on the run that Arsenal have gone on, Ole would have been sacked, let alone the talk of it. So, there's no talk about Pep, and he's had a bad start to the season. There's no talk about Arteta, and he's had an awful start to the season. There's no talk about Jose, when, United are in a similar position to Jose's Spurs. I mean, all the talk about Spurs is that, they're top of the table. But if we win our game in hand, we're only 2 points off that. So, yeah, Spurs shouldn't be in that conversation, actually. They're doing well. But you know what I mean? I mean, like, he's not done terribly in the league. Whilst we've lost games, we shouldn't have. To Arsenal, first of all, drawing to Chelsea was a really big disappointment. Obviously, losing to Crystal Palace at the start of the season was horrible. The defeat to Spurs, we had 10 men for like 80 minutes. So it's hard to really look at that as anyone's fault other than the referees for either sending Martial off or leaving the Spurs player on when he started it by grabbing at Martial's face. But, getting back to this particular game, This is a huge game for us. Man City, 1 point between the two clubs. We have a chance to jump up a few places in the league table and keep up within the title race. Like I said, we are in the title race, but if we lose this, we fall out of the title race really at the moment. We could get back into it, but we would fall out of it, and the race we'd be in is basically a top 4 race. So we need to win this game, and even for the fans and for the club itself to go from getting knocked out of the Champions League to then losing this would be an awful lot to take, and I'm not sure Ole would survive it. I honestly think he should. I don't think he should be sacked, and I do think the distractions of Pogba haven't helped things, but I also think Ole is not doing himself any favours. Benching Pogba I don't think is the correct thing to do. If he had started against RB Leipzig, we might have won that game. If he had started Van der Beek, we might have won that game as well. I mean, Van der Beek, Pogba, you've got to ask yourself, should these players be starting? And if so, do we get to see all 3 of these today against Man City? I mean, you would have to put in one defensive midfielder if you're going to play these 3. And we all know we don't have a defensive midfielder good enough. If we had Roy Keane in our team, if we had Kante in our team, maybe Fernandinho, if we had an excellent, go back to Makelele, if we had an excellent defensive midfielder, we could play these 3. But unfortunately, we don't. Let's actually take a look at our. Let's take a little look at the squad today, okay? I want to have a look at the team. Now, this is the team that played against RB Leipzig, guys. And I still, to this moment, absolutely devastated at this. I mean, you see here, like a back 7. What is that? Like, seriously, what is that? I mean, there's way too many defenders in here. Now, this is what I want to see today, right? If he's going to play Shaw, fine. But Shaw has very, very, very poor positional sense. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has very, very, very poor positional sense. And he's getting caught out in that right full position far too often with balls over the top. But if we play with this, McTominay and Matic, or I think what will probably happen is we'll go with Matic. I honestly think Fred, who's been really good this season, will play in there with Matic. And then it's a case of you've got Bruno, you've got Greenwood. I'm not sure Cavani's fit. If Cavani's not fit, then we bring in Martial. Okay, so now you've got a 4-3-3. Okay, as you can see, there's no place for Pogba. There's no place for Van der Beek. There's no place for Pogba. There's no place for Van der Beek. So really, if you could take a defensive midfielder out of there, if you could take Fred out and put in Van der Beek, that could help us with just composure on the ball, retaining the ball. But these chances are he's not going to do that. He's going to play with the 2 defensive midfielders. And if that is the case, then what I think should happen is we take Greenwood out, we play with a front 2 to really occupy the defenders, and we bring in either Pogba or Van der Beek. Okay, you could even kind of just go like that. But it's hard to say what he's going to do. I think I've seen a stat already. Ole's not picked the same 11 nearly all season, which for me is it's understandable considering the amount of talent United have. Pogba, Van der Beek, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, Cavani, trying to fit them all into the team is literally impossible. So you have to keep dropping players out. Juan Mata had a great start to the season, so you can't have these players all starting. Okay, obviously that's impossible. So you're gonna have to drop players, but he needs to start getting some kind of consistency in the team. Now whether that's with Pogba out and Van der Beek in, who knows? We could probably play like that. That is probably the team I would go with. If Cavani's fit, I'd play Cavani, but I'm pretty sure he's not. Guys, if anyone is watching, please go into the chat. Let me know if the Man United 11 has been announced. And we pray to God Daniel James is not in it. We pray to God that it doesn't have a back 7. But that is the 11 I'd go with. with the exception of maybe Pogba in instead of Van der Beek or Fred. What do you think of that, guys? Even looking at it, is it capable of winning? Absolutely, especially on the counter attack. But it's also very, very easily capable of losing. Jesus, it's extremely capable of losing. You know, Derby Day, Aguero and Pogba. I seen this image, I thought it was amazing, and then I kind of thought to myself, you know what? What's very strange is both these players might not even start today. But the array of talent there is between them, and they both might not start. Like I know Pogba has had inconsistencies. You know, obviously his agent. You know, if you look at my pre-match video for the game against RB Leipzig, a lot of it was talking about his agent and also Pogba himself for staying quiet over the whole debacle. Completely unsettling the team, absolutely disgusting from both of them. And for that, and the fact that Pogba has not sacked the agent yet, I am happy to see Pogba go in January. Absolutely happy to see him go. But if he does, Juve, Madrid, Barca, Bayern, PSG, like any team he goes to, he is starting every single week, and they make that team play around him. And the fact that we couldn't get the best out of Pogba in the last kind of 4 years, and he's had a couple of good seasons, he's won a couple of trophies, but the fact we couldn't get consistently the best out of him is probably one of the biggest disappointments I have. But here we have the two great players, and they might not even start in today's game, which is amazing. Just going to open up the chat. Just want to see if we have anybody at all watching live. And if not, you know, please, if you're watching after the fact, like the video, subscribe, just hit the bell so you get notifications. We have live pre-match videos every match day. And then also after the game, there's a post-match reaction, again, every match day. And then every weekend we will do beer and chats where there's just an hour live stream of me just talking about the whole weekend's football and all the clubs and all the VAR controversies and everything that's happened. So yeah, join me on that as well. You know, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. There's possibly 5 or so videos going up every single week and live streams. So by all means, do like, subscribe, share with your friends, and help build a bigger kind of community than we currently have. I do know that there's a couple of people watching live, so please join in the chat and let us know what your thoughts are in today's game and what your predictions are in relation to today's result. And then let us know, are you afraid or are you excited for today's game? I myself am terrified. I think this could be I mean, like I said, it's a game we could win, but it's easily a game we could lose, you know, and we could lose big, which is very annoying. So, just looking at the team itself, a prediction, I actually would be really, really disappointed with a loss. A draw would be acceptable, but it's hard to see us winning it on current form. I know the results show our current form as being good, but it's not really. You look at the West Ham performance, it was poor. You look at the Southampton one, it was iffy in spells. You look at the RB Leipzig one, very, very poor for a lot of the chances we conceded and the goals we conceded. So we're just too weak at the moment, and honestly, yeah, if we get out of this with a draw, I'd probably settle for that right now, I have to say. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, so do let us know. The match is going to be kicking off in about half an hour. I'm going to just check and see if there's any information regarding the two lineups. Bear with me. We'll just have a quick gander. Here we go. It's draw 1-1. West Brom, and then Newcastle got a good. Aston Villa got a good away win against Wolves. Very interesting. So football, and we'll just see now with the Man United live. Is there any information on the lineups? Let's talk about Henderson maybe. I don't think Henderson will start. I think I think we will stick with David De Gea. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's time Henderson gets in the post? I mean, David De Gea, he was a little bit at fault for the third goal against RB Leipzig, but Maguire was absolutely at fault. And if anything, I would bench Maguire. Bring in Bali, bring in Tuanzebe. In fact, bench Maguire and Lindelof at this stage, because the defence is leaking goals. We leaked 2 against Southampton. We leaked 1, could have been 6 against West Ham. We leaked another 3 against RB Leipzig. We conceded 7 or 8 goals in the last 3 games alone, which is absolutely shocking. What's more surprising is that we won 2 of them. Martial is available. But Anthony Martial is available, and Edinson Cavani could return for Man United. Okay, so this is saying Edinson Cavani is actually available, and if he is, I would actually take Martial out, put him on the bench, play him against tired legs, and stick Cavani in beside Rashford. Again, I do not think that this is the team Ole is going to go with. It's just the team I would hope he will go with. I am worried he will just play it back. 2 defensive midfielders. You'll take out Van der Beek and probably put in Martial, play with a front 3. It's hard to tell. I mean, like I said, we've got so many formations, so many options from the players themselves, that it's really, really hard to know not only who he'll pick, but what formation he'll play. There's so many combinations there that it's now easy to understand how he's managed to not pick the same 11 in 2 games. Doesn't look like there is any information in regards to the lineups, so this is all we're looking at. Guys, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. That is my prediction. My hope is that we can get the win. Ole has done a really great job against Pep Guardiola and Man City. We got the double last year. I would be delighted if we could get the win. My prediction is a draw. Let me know what yours is. As always, please like, subscribe and share the channel. Join me at 7:45 for a post-match reaction. I can't say what that's going to be, but hopefully it won't be too horrendous. I mean, if we lose the game but played well, that's actually acceptable. At this stage, I just want us to play well. So yeah, please join me for the post-game reaction at 7:45. But until then, guys, look, have a good day, enjoy the match, and I will chat to you all very, very, very soon.
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United, as the Reds go marching on, on, on. Welcome to Old Trafford, it's the better of our dreams. The power and the glory of the Shepherd End will sing. The Busby boys will take the pitch with marching at their feet, as the Reds go marching on, on, on. Glory, glory, Man United! Glory, glory, Man United! Glory, glory, Man United! As the Reds go marching on!
This shirt belongs to you. Always has, always will.